So by the end of the year, you know, Visa will have AI cards, and so your agents online who are buying things for you, and that's coming within the next quarter. They're going to be unloading a bunch of agents. There's agents out there already. Agents are AI vehicles, I guess, and they'll be searching for your stuff for shopping. And so pay attention to that, because that's really going to be exciting. So you can go out there with an agent using your Visa AI card, which will have parameters on it, so this AI agent doesn't buy a whole bunch of stuff you don't want, right? So you'll be able to put parameters on it, but the AI agent will go search for the best price all over the world and come back to you with it, so you know it's the best price or the best product that you're looking for. So it's some exciting times happening. I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot of things. I thought this was very interesting. AI has outperformed 94% of the expert virologists. How do you say that? So on the medical front, 94%, right? So it's getting there. It's going to help you. It's going to help doctors with diagnoses. So that's really some cool stuff. And so hopefully you're still dabbling with AI. I know that Claude is making some progress, and so is ChatGPT. ChatGPT just launched a search function that you can go search for a product, and it'll compare products for you. So you want to compare and search for this product, right, on ChatGPT, and it will go do that for you, and it'll find you the best coffee maker ever, and you can decide whether you want to buy it or not. So there's some stuff happening. Pay attention to it. Read up on AI. It's exciting times, but I do think that by the end of the year, there's going to be some exciting stuff happening on that front that we knew was going to happen, but we just didn't know when it was going to start happening, and it's coming that quick. So anyway, Mary Beth, our president for 2025. I had to make her laugh. The food's late, right? So anyway, you're president.
Thank you, Mike. Hey guys, how are you today? Yes, hungry, angry, hang tight. We're going to, again, like Mike said, who the heck knows when things like this are going to happen. It'll be late. So if you want to stay and eat here after the meeting, we're not going to interrupt the meeting. We're going to move swiftly so you guys can come in and stay and eat. Or if you're going to go sell a house, take a box to go and eat it on your way or back at your office, whatever works for you. Things happen and we change, so it's not a big deal. We'll all be okay. All right, so we're going to read the antitrust statement. The Greensboro Regional Realtors Association is a not-for-profit trade association devoted to improving the business conditions of the real estate industry in our region. GRA meetings and events often include real estate professionals and other industry stakeholders who compete with each other or work for competing businesses. GRA is committed to conducting all meetings and events in a professional, ethical, and lawful manner, including in adherence to all antitrust laws. To that end, the topics for this meeting will focus on advancing the interest of real estate professionals and consumers, of real estate services, increasing competition, reducing risk for all parties involved in real estate transactions, and sharing insights on business best practices. The following discussion topics are always prohibited: agreements to fix prices, limit product or service offerings, allocate geographical territory or customers, and refuse to deal. Any discussion inconsistent with this policy will not be tolerated. We know all that already, right? So we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you guys for all coming out. And just a reminder, this is our last meeting for a little bit. So, and we'll talk about it here shortly, but we will have the member appreciation next month, and then we will have a month off in July. So we won't have a regular First Tuesday meeting until August. So we're glad that you're here today, and I promise we're going to have food come heck or high water at the next meeting, so no worries there. And if we ever had to pick the perfect speaker for a day that y'all are angry, we did it. So you can't get mad at them and you can't lose your focus because, if we had a boring speaker today, you would probably only get mad at us, and you're not going to do that with Zack. So we kind of looked up. Sorry for you, Zack, but we're kind of, you saved us a little bit. So Zack Matheny is the president of Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, DGI, an independent nonprofit agency which works closely with the private sector and local government to stimulate new investment and interest in Greensboro's central business district. Matheny's qualifications blends government, nonprofit, and civic engagement experience. Since his hiring in July 2015, Downtown Greensboro has experienced tremendous growth with over $600 million in development, including numerous new restaurants and shops, as well as new residential and commercial properties. Community branding, public art, and innovative programming, such as the Borough Social District, I guess I said that right, have also increased pedestrian activity in the center city. In 2021, Matheny began serving as the president of the North Carolina Downtown Development Association and is a current member of the International Downtown Association's Board of Directors. Prior to his role at DGI, Matheny ran White Oak Capital Incorporated, a real estate and business development company, and was a 4-term Greensboro City Councilman for District 3, a seat he was elected again in 2022. Originally from Statesville, North Carolina, Matheny received his bachelor's degree from North Carolina State University in '96. Daughter just graduated from there on Saturday. He and his late wife, Lauren, have 3 children, Cameron, William, and Lily Grace. That's the most important of the whole biography. So thank you for everything you do, and we are very lucky to have you here today.
Funniest part was when she said I was going to be quick. You don't give a microphone to a politician and think that it's going to be quick. I do have a lot of slides. I am very happy to be here, and I always say that, the realtors really are the frontline sales folks for the city of Greensboro every day. And so thank you for what you do in representing our community. Seriously, I just gave this speech last Thursday. I took some of the slides out, but we are going to cruise through this thing. But I think it's a lot of relevant information that you should know. As was mentioned, what Downtown Greensboro Incorporated does is really a myriad of things: business recruitment, retention. We'll talk about marketing and branding of the community, advocacy, which right now it took me so long to get down here because about every street in downtown Greensboro has got construction. So I was a little bit tardy. Events, civic engagement, and public safety. We call it public space, but it's really public safety. It's hospitality, and you'll hear a lot about what we've done with the unsheltered population and mentally distressed. By the numbers, this is something I think you'd be interested in. Last year, just for the events, that Fun Fourth Festival, the Festival of Lights, we had 1.6 million people come down. This is incredible to me. 2024, this is a system called Placer AI that a lot of economic development people use. It's basically Big Brother. It's tracking cell phone usage. It's tracking your apps. And so we had 9.3 million visits last year in a town of 300,000 people. Now I'll tell you, Tanger Center is extremely important to us. Tanger Center had about 350,000 visits. They count every person. If your kids don't have a phone, we can't count them. So technically, we probably had well over 10 million. So if you add the Tanger Center, the ballpark, it's less than 10% of the total visits that we have. You show these numbers to a business, it gets their attention. 1.7 million unique. And I got these numbers because I had a lot of retailers come to me one day and say, Zack, you need to bring more people downtown. I'm like, what? That's a lot of people. 1.7, they come 5 times. The interesting part on this one is dwell time. one of the things that I've heard about is people come down for one thing and they leave. They come down to have lunch or dinner, they leave. 153 minutes on average. That's over 2.5 hours you're spending downtown at a given time. Again, tremendous. Over the last 7 years, we've had over 64 million visits. To put that in perspective, it crushes everything else. Housing, this is something y'all would be interested in. Of course, a lot of them are rental, but we had about 1,500 in 2010. Now we're about 2,360. You'll see some things that we're working on from a for sale product as well. But so we've got growth, 63% increase in housing. We have to have heads in beds. Residents downtown, 2,800. I really am trying to get to 10,000. That's when you really move the mark, 10,000. So 2,700, 2010, 3,500 in 2020. What happened? About 3,800 last year. We've got some other units coming online, so we should be at about 4,000 really by the end of this year. So we're moving in the right direction. Our workforce, 2023, we had 17,000 employees. That's pretty good, especially since, COVID kind of messed some things up for us. So last year we did it. We had 18,000. We grew our downtown workforce over 1,000 jobs. Greensboro's growing, despite everything that anybody says. Daytime population, 21,600. Most of them are workers. We got the residents. Just out of curiosity, this is on any given day. How many people know how many people the Coliseum sits? About 22,000. So essentially, I went to a Zack Matheny show. He had about 22,000 people. Sold out. Taylor Swift, as she comes in, 22,000. We essentially have a sold-out Coliseum show every day in downtown Greensboro. That's a lot of people. Number 1 rated for a small business. These are statistics that are very important when we're trying to recruit businesses. Economic projects right now, since I took over in 2015, we've had well over 485 completed. We had over 1 million square foot that were renovated or built. 1 million square foot in downtown Greensboro is significant. Currently, right now, if you think about it, our office market is about 2.5 million square feet. So to have 1 million square foot that has been built or renovated is huge. And right now, we're at about 471 million that'll be finished. For example, Lynbrook Properties has a 120-unit rental property in the northwest corner. They will be leasing up. I'll talk a little bit about that sooner. If you take things that are in planning that I can't really count because they're not over the finish line, we're well over $800 million. It's large. Marketing, we're reaching over 42,000, almost 43,000 folks on Facebook. I don't understand what reach means. My folks at the office do, but 1.7 is good. That means we had interactions. We have over 52,000 followers on Instagram. Again, to put that in perspective, about a year and a half ago, we had 25,000. The engagement in Greensboro, and I give it to the talent of the folks that run our social media, they've grown it significantly. The engagement of what's happening is huge. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, I encourage you to do so. It's at downtowngreensboro.org, and we send out things. If you want to know what's happening, Thursdays when it comes out, it's awesome. Speaking of AI, so I took a lot of grief. I was going to use a different word, but I took a lot of grief for thinking about how to brand downtown. And so what we did is I saw that Matthew McConaughey commercial where he's like walking in the Wild West, and he said if gold's the new AI, then something, and it's part real, part fake. What we try to do is think about how can we brand and market to grab your attention that doesn't just look like any old other city that you don't know what you're looking at. And the goal was see for yourself. And So in this, we used AI, and Emissaire, a marketing firm, helped us with this. But what's real is in the glasses. See for yourself. Celebrate what's real. And everything that's in the glasses, if you look at the billboards or the TV commercials, it's in the glasses. And it's reached in 6 months over 15 million people. It surpassed every marketing percentage that they presented to us, well over 100%. Shocking. The events, hopefully y'all know all of them. From Fun Fourth, we've got beach music this Thursday at the ballpark. We've got 5. We end it with Sleepin' Booty on July 4th. We actually have fireworks. If we didn't do this July 4th, Greensboro wouldn't have had fireworks. So I got a lot of money riding on that, so if y'all will buy as many tickets as you can, that would really help me out. But we also do everything in downtown in December. And so first Fridays, this is, speaking of shutting down streets, the city had this genius idea to let's shut down Elm Street. Man, we have taken some grief over that one. But we tried to shut down Elm Street to limit the cruising, the loud noises, so if you're eating outside, you would actually enjoy it. We don't know where that's going to go, but we're trying to activate Elm Street. It would help if Green Street, Davie Street, and every other street were open. We partnered with the North Carolina Folk Festival, and I'll tell you, Jody Rupel, who runs the Folk Festival now, has done a great job. I have a love-hate relationship with the Folk Festival. I love to hate it because they always had it where it shut downtown off, and our businesses, it was the worst week of the year for their business. Chris Lester, who owns Natty Greens, it was literally the worst week. Little Brother Brewing complained to me all the time. Now she's done a better job of activating Elm Street and activating downtown by shifting the footprint. And so I commend Jody, and so much so that we sponsored a local music that really celebrates local musicians in local restaurants. And if you look up their website, these started last Friday and goes through the summer leading up to the Folk Festival. So she's doing a lot of exciting things to activate local musicians in local restaurants. The Depot, so the mayor of Raleigh came into Greensboro and took the train last year. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what she saw? Who rides the train? Anybody in here ride the train? It's fun to ride the train. It ain't fun to go to the depot. So what we're trying to do, and we're working on this, we've got plans that are getting drawn up. We want to create, you probably wouldn't go to this section. This is where the bus riders sit currently. We're going to shift them to another side, and we're going to create an activating point. This construction should begin at the end of the year. Very exciting. I want to have a restaurant there, potentially a brewery. Personally, I wanted to have a market, but it's too small. But that's going to be moving forward towards the end of the year. The AC Hotel, you may have seen yesterday, we broke ground. You talk about something funny. We had like 5 of us with shovels, and they didn't kind of wet the dirt. And so Roy Carroll was to my left, and as we took the dirt and we threw it, everything went all over Mr. C, as I call him. But we broke ground yesterday. This is a $65 million hotel. In the top right, you can see it's a rooftop restaurant. He'll tell you this, the name of the restaurant is going to be called the Bristol. Does anybody in here know why? The dog. That dog, he almost brought it to the groundbreaking yesterday. Thought it'd be distracting. He is going to build residential units, and it's going to have meeting space. Folks, this is the 3rd hotel since 1991. The Marriott was completed about 1991. And to have more hotel rooms is what we've been sorely lacking, and meeting space. Now, I'll give you an example. The Hyatt Place downtown. We cut the ribbon. I'll never forget it. We cut it in 2019. Perfect timing to open a hotel. Since 2019, since we cut that ribbon, May of 19, there have been over 220 people in the last 5 years stay at the Hyatt Place. That's 220,000 extra people coming to downtown. What do you think that does to our restaurants, our retail, our activation, our vibrancy? So to have another hotel, that's why he did it. In a time when tariffs, construction costs, interest rates, to move this forward right now in downtown Greensboro is huge. Once he completes everything around it, it's about a $150 million project. So the Carroll companies will have almost $500 million invested in downtown Greensboro alone. That is enormous. And I can't tell you how many city staff poke them in the eye and try to get in the way of progress. It drives me crazy. I mentioned Lynbrook. This is Spring Street Apartments. It's nearing completion. If you know where Dog Days is, up near Smith Street, their leasing will start late this summer. They are literally, actually probably going to be June. I put late summer to give me a little breathing room. Again, that's huge. The Pearl, the steel-tried stage. You can't really see from the outside what's happening inside, but they've demoed it, and they're going to have a music venue that'll probably open first quarter of next year. They actually hired, who saw the movie, the remake of the old movie, Wicked? Dominic from UNCG, that was a key aspect of the movie Wicked, just left UNCG and is the manager of what they're calling the Pearl right now. They hired some of the best talent they could hire in the industry. A lot to be excited for. By the way, I don't have this slide, but I think it's May 15th. Ziggy's is opening on downtown and the south end of Greensboro. So we've got a lot of things happening that are entertaining. Office. People tell me office, people worried about office. I just told you we grew our downtown workforce by 1,000 jobs. This is a building, I'm not even going to ask y'all if y'all know, because nobody would recognize this thing. But if you've been to the Undercurrent restaurant, to the left is an old Oddfellows building. It was painted white. This, a company, Evolve Companies, real estate development company, an old county commissioner, Mike Winstead, owns this company, bought the building, and will begin renovations late this summer. So that is going to breathe new life, new office into downtown Greensboro. New jobs, more people. Who in here is familiar with our Downtown Ambassador program? I mean, you got to be shy about it. There you go. So our Downtown Ambassador program, I had a meeting with them this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, if I've done anything in 10 years, this is the best thing that we've ever done for the city. Not just downtown, the city. We have about 8 or 9 folks that all they do, they were literally supposed to be ambassadors, like hospitality. They were started out moving furniture, which I'm like, don't do that. I don't have liability insurance like that. Help people, guide people, open the door at the Tanger, welcome them to downtown, tell them where a restaurant is, tell them where the courthouse is, tell them what's going on. What they've morphed into is the leading organization to help folks get the help that they need. Now, we voted on the city council side on these things called pallet homes that were right around the corner, and I didn't vote for it. I didn't think they would work. I thought it was a waste of money. And the mayor loves when I say this. I was wrong. It's okay to admit it. They seem to be working, and we are the leading organization to get folks off the streets and into some type of housing. We also work with the Servant Center. We work with Youth Focus and other organizations, Greensboro Urban Ministry. We are the leaders of getting folks the help that they need. And I couldn't be more proud of the downtown hospitality team. And you'll see them, they have blue shirts on. It says, Ask Us Downtown Hospitality. So we were moving it. And if you've been downtown, last summer was tough. Tough. This summer, completely different. Challenges. Construction costs, interest rates, public safety. People want to be safe. You don't have a safe downtown. If you don't have a safe city, nobody's coming. Drives me crazy. Graffiti, vandalism. 2 weeks ago, we had one guy take a brick and bust through 3 windows. 3 windows. That hurts small businesses. And of course, yeah, we had him arrested. You can't do that. There's a difference between being unsheltered and being lawlessness. So we've got to be able to get that. And graffiti, we got to clean it up. And of course, there's a huge increase, 38%, I believe, on the unhoused population. And unhoused is not fair because you have unhoused, you have mentally distressed, you have substance abuse. I don't like using one word to cover all of it, but y'all understand what I mean. Opportunities. We have a sense of urgency right now. The business community is stepping up. The diversity in businesses and community. We have over 63% of our businesses in downtown that are minority or women-owned. Key sites, and we'll talk about that. We're creative, unified approach. The sense of security, Tim Rice is running a think tank strategy with all the organizations I mentioned before, Goodwill, and others, about how we help folks in need. We're finally getting it together. I don't understand why it took so long, but we're finally getting it together, and we've got good folks running it. And then the data that I mentioned earlier. Our goals, we want to continue to recruit businesses. Empty storefronts, I hear a lot of. We filled a lot of them. But there are some, and I was talking to Mr. Johnson in here a little while ago. He knows one that is my nemesis that I hope that we can get full. But we're going to try to make these efforts. I want to do more public art. It doesn't have to be big. You ever been to Greenville, South Carolina? I took my daughter. She's 12 and a half. She was 2, so she was a short little thing. Well, she takes after me. She's going to be short her whole life. But she found this little mouse. And she said, what is this? And it was after a book called Goodnight Moon that I happened to be reading to my son and daughter back then. And so what this Boy Scout guy did was went to my friend the mayor, Knox White, and said, I want to do a bronze mouse project and have a scavenger hunt throughout downtown. And the mayor was like, all right. He said, what do you need? I need money. Well, how much do you need? $2,000. It ain't got to be huge and expensive. It's got to be smart, and it's got to be engaging. We are meeting regularly with our retailers, engaging them to be open. Sunday is probably the best and busiest day in downtown. And we got the Thrive 35 plan, which I'll try to speed it up. But this Thrive 35 plan is basically the business community and the foundations came to me, and they said, all right, we're through with COVID. We got to reset. What can we do to help you? Let's update the downtown master plan. And so that's what it is. It's a Thrive 35 plan. These are 9 things that we're trying to get feedback from the community. Y'all are going to help figure this out. But when you're looking at downtown, we're looking at what are our assets, ballpark. Well, now, I had somebody send me an email telling me, whatever happened, why didn't the ballpark area get developed? Well, Mr. Carroll alone is going to have $300 million there. By the way, when was the ballpark given to us? About 2004. What happened shortly after that? Not real good stuff. And so timing caught us a little bit. But, how do we build an even more attractive ballpark area? Thinking about, the Children's Museum. They've got initiatives. We're talking about STEM. We've engaged the Science Center. Thinking about how we connect our brains with UNCG, A&T, Greensboro College, Bennett College, and measuring things together. Connecting. Youth sports. Now, I'll tell y'all, this is a passion of mine. The city's been talking about being a youth sports capital, youth and amateur sports, really. Well, let's do it. Hindsight, I would have moved the aquatic center downtown. It's been one of the most successful things Greensboro's ever done. So we're soccer oriented. We've got rugby. I didn't know UNCG had such a rugby following. Widener Field in the bottom right is where I went to go see Colorado Springs. We've got a couple of sites downtown, mainly one that's about 10 acres called the News and Record. Widener Field in Colorado Springs is on 4.8 acres. If you did this, the surrounding area, that building in the back on the bottom left used to not be there. If you want office, more hotels, more residential, you build it around assets. And I will tell you that we have 2 Major League Soccer folks that are courting us, dating us, dying for us to do this. And then if you throw in Oakview Group and their ability, who manages the Coliseum and the Tanger Center, you create an amphitheater in there and you activate it 180 days a year. That's what you do. We want an amphitheater. We want youth sports. We want professional sports. You put them all together in one place. Water. We want to do a water feature. Housing. We need more housing if we're going to get to 10,000 units. So, mixed-use housing, how you develop housing with live-work. Southside's been a great example. The Greenway. The Greenway's is finally getting done. If I got to go put a shovel out there myself, it's going to get done. But there's an opportunity with the school system selling their property that we can capitalize on housing on the Greenway. That's what it's for. If you go to Charlotte and you think about the rail line, that's what they did. And our land's a lot cheaper than Charlotte's. And so we're looking at how we do that. We are looking at the bottom right, by the way, is the depot. We're going to work with the chamber on a minority incubator hub for small business. That's the news of it. I get in trouble. Our streets, while they're in construction, we're trying to beautify them. Green Street's finally going 2 ways. We're going to try to make it look a little bit more like that. The Hopper Trolley, has anybody ridden that? Hopper Trolley is good. We're extending that out. It's a good connector. And we're also connecting to East Greensboro and other greenways. You can't just do it in town. You got to connect to the world. You got to connect to every community. We actually won an award by partnering with North Carolina A&T on autonomous vehicles. You're going to probably see more autonomous vehicles. Has anybody ever heard of Waymo? If you go to San Francisco, Waymo's everywhere. It's autonomous vehicles. And so I think you're going to see that. I can't remember if we've announced it, but due to all the parking decks closing, we got to get folks connecting around. We're going to institute 4 autonomous vehicles in downtown. And again, we're just looking at how we beautify things. This is another view of the depot. Isn't that a beautiful shot? So this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to activate it. Whoever went to First Fridays down there in concerts. Hootie and the Blowfish played at the depot. Ain't nobody played at the depot in 20 years. So that's again, and that connects to the upper part that I showed you earlier. Again, with this Thrive 35, the goal is to get information from y'all to tell us what you think can work, what you think won't work, what do we need to work on. So Thrive 35, yeah, get your phones out, come on. It takes, I actually took it over the weekend. It takes about 8 minutes. And so we want information from you. We want feedback. And we're going to close this Friday. We've had over 2,000 responses. And we've got some other charrettes we're doing. If you want me to buy you a beer, I think I just messed it up. But anyway, we're going to have a charrette on Monday, the 12th, at South End Brewery, starting at 4, where we're going to have boards showing some of these images, showing the youth and amateur sports capital, showing the multi-use stadium, showing some of the other areas where we can try to improve. And so, love for you to come down Monday at South End Brewery from 4, maybe to 5:30. I'm going to see you Thursday at Beach Music. You have to be there. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I mean, I know I talk fast. Y'all are hungry. And y'all hangry. Yes, sir. I am in active negotiations on that. I will tell y'all, nobody really knows this either. Is there any media in here? Don't be tweeting this shit out. That's Lomax. I need to talk to John. John took a long vacation. I need to follow up with John, but he's got, I think it's 5 acres over there, right on the grid, right in a perfect spot. I will, without going into too much detail, I'll just tell you, there's a lot of activity around that area that I think would motivate him. Personally, I like the thought process of building a mini South Side over there, a live, work, play, for sale product. But you can't make people do anything. So the property on the south side of Gate City, the article Sunday with Andy announcing his plans, and he wants to do I think a 38,000 square foot forge makerspace. He wants to do 65 units. He really wants to partner with Peace Haven Farms and do a farmer's market down there. To activate it, I just drove down there because literally Gate City's closed, so that took me. The parking down there, we don't have any. Both of those lots are full, so we're going to have to figure that out. The community was misled on the proposed grocery store. That was allegedly going to go there, Lidl. They were never going to go there. Lidl's closed more stores, I think, than they've opened. And so that was really disappointing to see how the community was misled. I think something down there, that site, by the way, was where the ballpark was originally drawn. And so that site has been empty for 20-some years. So I think a proper activation that creates an innovation, if it could have a grocery component, great. But I don't know if y'all know anything about groceries. You got to have heads in beds, and they really look at education. I didn't know that. The owners of Corey Corporation told me that. And so they look at those levels. And so it's going to be tough to get that because there's no residential south of really Market. We don't have the units. So I'd rather it be activated than sit empty. Thank y'all for having me. Hope y'all get some food.
Thank you, Zach. And we sincerely, no matter who yells at you, we sincerely appreciate everything you do for downtown. I don't know when you sleep or if you sleep, but thank you. We appreciate you. And we also are going to dedicate and honor, give a book to Hunter Elementary, which is our adopted school, for coming to speak with us today. So thank you. And Zack may have a few minutes to stick around, probably not. But if you can catch him and you have a quick question, you can catch him after the meeting. I am now going to have one of my very favorite people come up. And number one, he declined my offer for he and Scott to come sing at my installation, so I did not forget it. And so I was bound and determined to have him up here as my partner at some point this year. So I am now going to invite Robbie Sockwell to come up and handle our cares and concerns.
I think she had me up here to make my brokers in charge, Kevin Green and Scott Thompson, nervous about what I would say. That's part of it. We want to extend condolences to the family and friends of the following individuals today, and you guys get the emails. There have been a lot recently. GRRA member Lori Yeager with Allen Tate, Oak Ridge. Her husband, Michael Scott Yeager, passed away on March the 8th, 2025. Former GRA member Sigrid Ellis's husband, Mark Rosenbaum, passed away on Saturday, April the 5th, 2025. GRRA member Ed Catalano, who I know well, his wife Colleen passed away on Saturday, April the 5th, 2025. Former GRRA member Missy Slack passed away on Friday, April the 11th. And GRRA member Jacqueline Hill's husband, David Rex Tract, passed away on April the 21st, 2025. The irony of this today, as we're sitting here and none of us have eaten, this is supposed to be something positive, but the title of, I wanted to read something to you guys, and it's a poem by one of my favorite poets, who was the Poet Laureate in June of 2019, and it reads, "Perhaps the world ends here." And if we don't get food, it could, right? The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table, we gossip, recall enemies, and the ghost of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us. They put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down selves as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burials here. At this table we sing with joy and sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse, and we give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating the last sweet bite. And the reason I wanted to read this particular poem by Joy Harjo is because we all come from different backgrounds and different cultures and different religions, and we all look different. But yet we all come together here, and we all are here for the same reason, and we're able to speak to each other, to make friends with each other, to learn from each other, and to enjoy each other's company. And the things that happen while we eat, which we're not. I said it was ironic. But I just, I just think that food and this fellowship just brings us all together, and it just reminds us that we are so much more alike than different. And ironically, with the fact that the food may or may not be here yet, it's just a testament to what we do every day, and that you just don't know how the day is going to go. And you just have to be positive and make the best of it in every situation like this. And I'm grateful for everything that everybody that does the organization of this event at Mary Beth. It's a lot of hard work, and we know that it is. So we will just be gracious and be glad when we get our food, if we do. And if not, you get to pick what you get to eat. So that's good too. And I just thank you guys for the opportunity. If we will all turn to the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if you were trying to be funny about food around the table, or if you changed that while Zack was talking, but thank you for that, and thank God for our differences and for the tables that we all sit. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate you. Now I'm going to invite up Cindy Bird. She's the development director with Habitat, about the Hearts for Home campaign, to the podium. Thank you for being here.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Christine Bird with Habitat Greensboro. So excited to be here. So really quickly, I know I stand between y'all and food. I'm very sorry about that. Who in the room participated in the Hearts for Home build in 2022, our last Hearts for Home build? Anybody? I know Wayne Young did in the back. Y'all don't be shy, right? I have a few people who came out and built with us. So excellent, you came as well. Awesome. So Zack talked about the unhoused population, right? And I realize that habitat and unhoused population, those two don't necessarily seem to flow together, right? But we provide access to affordable home ownership. And for every unit of affordable home ownership we can provide, we are pulling someone out of a subsidized rental situation typically and freeing up that spot for a unhoused person. So see, it all just ties in together today to support this great, vibrant community that we have. So I am here to invite you to join us for our 2025 Hearts for Home build. It is when we invite all our real estate friends, our banking friends, and our mortgage lending friends to come together and support the construction of safe, stable, and affordable housing in our community. Kaylee Cook, my team member here, is walking around to hand out a flyer on every single table. So if you'd like to join us in supporting these efforts, we would love to have you come on the build site. Yes, it does take funding to make our homeownership opportunity a reality for families. So we appreciate your financial support, but we really do appreciate your volunteer support. And also, almost above anything else, as you are working with home buyers, who works with more home buyers than our real estate friends? If you encounter a home buyer that just, gosh darn it, cannot qualify for home ownership in the market that you work in, please refer them to us, because we may be able to help them. And if we can't help them, because most of the time it comes down to collections issues or debt issues that we can't partner with them, we've got our friend Sophia Crisp here sitting in the audience, and we will happily refer those folks over to her organization to get some good credit counseling, and then they can come back to us or to you to be able to purchase the home that they've always dreamed to create that stability for their household. So please take a moment to review the flyer, and thank you so much to Mike and to Mary Beth for letting me come here and have just a few brief moments with you. If you have any questions about how to get involved with Habitat, I'd love to talk to you. Kaylee would love to talk to you. Wayne Young is former board member for us. He would love to talk to you. Please don't hesitate to ask. And thank you all so much.
Thank you, Cindy. I think everybody has those on the table now, so jump in and get involved if you can. For the sake of time, because believe it or not, we do have food. Don't get up yet, but let's go ahead and bring up everybody. Maxine and Patty are going to be up first. Go ahead and come up, Scott, LaShonda, Morella, and Candace, for your quick announcements.
Okay, real quick. So I'm not Maxine or Patty, but I am Terry Booker, and I'm here to make sure that you take a look at the flyer that's on your table, and that you don't miss the opportunity to join us on Thursday, May the 22nd. The Women's Council of Realtors and the Education Committee with GRA are partnering to bring a first-class speaker, one who has actually won championships for speaking internationally with Toastmasters, and he's coming to help each of us learn how to speak with engagement, without fear and anxiety. And he's actually going to give us some tips on storytelling and the like, and we'll get to have some interactive sessions with each other and leave here speaking more confidently. And so I don't want you to miss that opportunity. Just wanted to bring your attention to this great session that we'll have on the 22nd right here. Thank you.
All right. Well, just wanted to tell you.
So the next event we have going on is the Member Appreciation Party on June 10th, Tuesday, 4:30 to 7. It's going to be here. Make sure to register. This year's theme is Sun, Sand, and Salt. It's a beachwear with a realtor flair, so just come to impress. We'll be awarding a prize for most likely to sell a beach house. So think of like straw hats, linen shirts, Hawaiian shirts, maxi dresses, but just make sure to leave your bathing suits at home. Let's keep it classy. What to expect? We're going to have some food trucks, live music. We're going to have some interactive booths hosted by our affiliated members. And like I said, just make sure to register. We do need to have a number, and hopefully we will see you there. Thanks.
I'm LaShonda Valines, and I'm here to talk to you all about the Realtors Community Service Committee. So this past weekend, we had some volunteers that went to the Mitchell Street Park and did a cleanup. Thank you to all of those volunteers, because you spent your time on a Saturday morning and you didn't have to, so we really appreciate that. And next up, we will be volunteering at Hunter Elementary, providing teachers with breakfast. And then what we really need your help with is the annual food drive. So if you have any canned goods, any non-perishable items, please drop them off here at GRRA, or if you have a large office, you can always grab one of the boxes and take it to your office and fill it up there. Thank y'all so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Candace Oglesby with Compass. I am the co-chair for the Young Professional Network. Our next highly anticipated event, so much so that Peter would not let me put flyers on your tables, is May 27th. We are going to be at the Grasshoppers game. Please come, fellowship, drink, have a drink on us, and just talk with your fellow realtors. We do meet every fourth Friday, and it is for everybody. I want to reiterate that. It is for the young at heart. Everybody in this room is welcome, so please join our committee. We are planning our bus tour in September, on September 17th, and would love your input on communities, different ideas as we continue to build that. Thank you, guys.
And Philip, if you want to come up and talk about our visit to Raleigh, speak about government affairs real quick.
Hello, everyone. So we had a great, how many did we have, Mary Beth? We had 31 of our realtors from Greensboro there, and we were the halls were crowded with our Greensboro group. We met with a lot of our representatives from the state and the House, had lots of great conversations, and voiced a lot of our concerns and issues we wanted to have addressed. But more importantly, I believe that we just made a statement by being there in our group, and so they definitely seen the realtors in full force there. I would highly recommend that a lot of you join and get involved in your community. And we have city council races this year. There's so many things happening each year. So of course we have a lot of pull in our community. So I believe getting involved in the races. Our governmental affairs group is bipartisan. So so please come and join us for that as well. Thank you.
And that's so important to keep in mind. We have so many races that we're going to be interviewing for and supporting coming up locally, but also, like Philip said, at the state level in Raleigh, jump in. Anybody can go. You don't even have to be a part of government affairs. You can come and go with us. And also, we're going to be going to D.C. the first week in June, so even on the national level, we do have influence, and there's always power in numbers. And it starts with downtown Greensboro all the way up to D.C. So we would love to have you come sit in with us and get educated about the bills that are on the table right now. And it, again, we're the Purple Party. You guys know that from what Scott said, the RPAC. I was like, what? Am I losing it? Oh, that baby's here. But anyway, so come and join us for that. We have a lot of events coming up. You guys have seen those, and they are in the hub. We have another new member orientation, and believe it or not, it is full again. So these crazy kids are still coming in. On Thursday, we have a full class. And then for those other crazy kids who haven't done their CE yet, we have a few left on May 14th, virtual Gen Up. Then we have a virtual CE. We have connections and conversations with the Women's Council. And then we have one last Bick Up with Sandra. So you guys take a note of those dates and join where you can, and make sure to get your CE before it's time. And in all seriousness, thank you so much for understanding this hiccup, because hiccups happen, and we found out about 11:15 today. So we are sorry for the inconvenience. But the good news is we don't know what the heck it is, but it is out there. So you will be fed if you so choose. So take your chances, and we're going to wrap up a few minutes. We would love to have you stay, and like Robbie said, a lot happens at the table, so you are welcome to stay here and have your lunch and enjoy and talk to your friends or